I don't really need to tell you what car this is. It's the world's best-selling two-seater sports car, and probably the most famous Mazda ever made. It was so popular because it was back to basics fun. Now, when Mazda launched the MX-5 way back in 1989, they took everything that we loved about MGs, Triumphs and Lotuses and added more reliable mechanicals. Such was Mazda's attention to detail, so the story goes, they even copied the exact noise an MG gearbox made. They were that fanatical about getting the British sports car formula right. Now, while sports car fans will doff their caps at this car, there's far more to Mazda's sports car history than just the MX-5. In fact, the story began 20 years earlier with the Cosmo Sport 110 of 1967. It had that front-engined rear-wheel drive layout that all sports cars of the time had, and its low and sleek styling was Mazda's take on the Triumph Spitfire. But what really marked out the Cosmo was its rotary engine. It was the start of Mazda's love affair with the engine type. It's in 1978 though when the story really spices up, because Mazda built the first RX-7. Arguably the first Mazda people in Europe and North America took notice of. Its appeal was simple. It was good looking, reliable and an affordable 2+2 coupe. Now, its styling looked to the west because from some angles this car looks very much like an E-Type Jag, but under the bonnet there's something very Japanese, that rotary engine. It only had 103 brake horsepower, but the rotary engine was smaller and lighter than a conventional 4-cylinder engine, yet as powerful as a 6-cylinder, allowing it to be neatly packaged for near 50-50 weight distribution. Now, I can't believe how modern this car feels, and that's mostly due to the balance this thing has. And the engine is positioned right just behind the front axle, and it's got so much poise. Together with this meaty steering and snickety little gear change, you can see why Mazda sports cars certainly earned a following. Like the Cosmo, the RX-7's body was styled with aerodynamics in mind, and today, with its jet-like windscreen, triangular side windows and distinctive square boot, it's a bit of a Japanese design icon. And this was just the starting point, because the RX-7 story just got better and better. It's the RX-7 Mark III that's probably the most special, well, most special for me at least, because it's the type of car that I grew up with as a child. It's powerful, and would you just look at the way it looks? It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, just like the RX-7s before it, the Mark III was rotary powered. Now, it had just over 230 horsepower. 0 to 60 took 5.1 seconds. And even though this is a car from 1994, this is still a very quick car. Top speed is 156 miles an hour. Steering is heavy, but still very direct. And the gearbox, 5 speeds, is really beautifully crisp and precise. And in here there's a curious mixture of old and new, well, new by 1994 standards, because I look at the dials and they're white on black, something you get from a 1960s British sports car, and yet the dashboard is made out of cheap, scratchy plastic. But hey, who cares? And the RX-7 Mark III may have iconic status amongst RX-7 fans, but it's a very rare one. Throughout its entire life cycle, they only sold 1,152 of them, making this a very, very exclusive car, even today. As one century ended and another began, Mazda didn't stand still. It took the innovative RX-7 and created the unique RX-8. The RX-8 arrived in 2003, just as the small sports car market was back in its ascendancy. The new Mazda went head-to-head with cars like the Audi TT, the Chrysler Crossfire, and its chief rival, the Nissan 350Z. But Mazda, being Mazda, did things their own way, so there was that dual motor engine pushing out 228 brake horsepower and a comfortable and quirky interior. This rotary engine 40th anniversary edition from 2008 was the icing on the cake. With its special paintwork, alloys, interior and Bilstein dampers, it remains Mazda's last rotary engine car, although Mazda has promised it won't be the last forever. Now, one of the things that marks out the RX-8 was that it was pretty practical. Now, on the outside, it may look like just any other Mazda sports car, but look at this. If I open up the front door, there's also a couple of rear doors as well, allowing you to get into the back of the rear seats. I mean, there's not bags of knee room back there, it's not Ford Mondeo levels of knee room, but it's pretty practical, and it shows Mazda at its quirky and interesting best. So, those are my favourites. The last thing to say is, the next time you see an MX-5 and you think it's produced by some boring car manufacturer, think again. Click the video on the left for a first drive of the Mazda MX-5, or the video on the right for a track battle between the MX-5 1.5 and the 2-litre. Click the play icon for our latest video and on our logo to subscribe.